The super woke, that like I'm not woke enough for them. Yeah, but like I think I had it right. Like that kind of stuff is what lost the election for the Democrats. It's in all
Maybe part of it. I don't know. I think a lot.
they have polling on it.
Well, I think it's inflation. I think Americans hate inflation.
That certainly was
They hate
part of it.
inflation, they hate riots, and they hate black women,
They don't
and they hate trans
oh
people.
God, John, we're not
Dude,
gonna.
they just spent hundreds of millions of
They
dollars
don't hate
demonizing
black.
trans people. And that is
Oh,
disgusting.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Today we have Bill Maher, and he is valiantly trying to keep Jon Cryer from going off the rails. Now, if you're not familiar with Jon Cryer, he hit it big as Ducky Boy back in the 80s with Pretty in Pink. And then way back into the aughts, I believe. I can't even remember when Two and a Half Men started, as Alan Harper with, again, Two and a Half Men. So if you look at the totality of his career, it basically is a shit sandwich with two really good pieces of bread. Other than that, he basically is rather a creature of the left, and in one of those who lives in his own particular bubble. And he is going to prove this as Bill Maher desperately tries to rein in Jon Cryer during a really pretty insane leftist rant.
if you don't want to talk about that
No,
politics at all,
well,
I shouldn't because
yeah.
I really started this podcast to get away from it. So you're right. I kind of fucked up.
yes.
But I don't know. Sometimes people say things that trigger me.
Uh-huh.
And of course, we just had the election, and I feel like my conscience is very clear. I warned everybody about Trump, and then I warned them about what would get him reelected, which was stupid wokeness, which is what got him reelected. So I feel my conscience is very clear that I told you and I told you and I told you, and I lost fans for it. You know, lots of the super woke that like I'm not woke enough for them. Yeah, but like I think I had it right. Like that kind of stuff is what lost the election for the Democrats. It's in all
Maybe part of it. I don't know. I think a lot.
they have polling on it.
Well, I think it's inflation. I think Americans hate inflation.
That certainly was
They hate
part of it.
inflation, they hate riots, and they hate black women.
They don't
and they hate trans people.
Oh God, John, we're not
Dude,
gonna.
And this, again, what I was saying is the particular bubble that Jon Cryer finds himself within. People on our side do not hate transgenders, okay? It's not that we hate transgenders, it's we hate the idea that people are trying to change reality around them. That's basically it. It's that being used as a tool to basically degenerate the culture, okay? And when you go after something so fundamental as what is a man and what is a woman, then you've really gone into Orwell's 2 + 2 = 5. So again, this is where folks like Jon Cryer find themselves because they can afford to feel that way, and because of the things that would need to happen for their perfect world to emerge would basically crush the economy because it's done so countless times. But again, people like this don't learn because again they aren't affected by the results of their actions.
they just spent hundreds of millions
They
of dollars
don't hate
demonizing
black.
trans people. And that is
Oh.
disgusting.
Yeah,
That
we
is-
shouldn't talk politics.
Okay, we shouldn't. We
I mean,
shouldn't.
this is-
Again, saying men are men and women are women is not demonizing transgenders. Okay, that's not it at all. Okay, that's admitting to a basic fact.
Great. We don't have
Yeah.
to.
No, and this, you know, I mean, I have this kind of relationship with people on the right also who like, yeah, it's just going to take so long to even have this discussion.
Mhm.
And I want, just like I would like to deprogram them, I feel like there's things that don't get in your bubble on the left
Mhm.
that I would love to deprogram, but it's probably
Yeah, it's called reality. Okay, it's called basic facts. It's called if you basically take the reins off of a homeless situation, the homeless situation will explode. If you don't clear cut forests are going to burn down because that's how forests take care of dead wood. They burn themselves down. It's actually a natural process. It goes back to when lightning strikes first started, or at least when trees first started and then lightning strikes. But anyway, there's a whole mechanic behind it. But if you do more clear cutting, then of course you won't have that problem. And this is why you have things like this in California, plus the fact of rampant environmentalism because of a certain type of fish that I believe does exist in other areas, but you can't use the water in that area, so they didn't have enough water to even pump in there. It is a giant mess down there, but again, this is the type of stuff that happens when you promote the type of politics that Jon Cryer believes in. And of course, Bill Maher is here to try to at least get him to a point of reality, if we can put it that way. Okay.
Probably not the place to do it.
Yeah,
But you know,
you can try. if that's how you want to spend your leisure hours.
No, I mean,
deprogramming Ducky. There's a spinoff. There's a spinoff. But
I would watch that. Okay, honestly, yes, I would watch that.
but I feel like the immigration argument gets sidetracked because people just assume that there's a lot of generalizations about immigrants that dehumanize them and are untrue. You are mad that they let that many immigrants in because you think they increase crime? What? Because they don't. Because they increase they decrease wages.
They actually do increase crime. You just have to report it. And they've found that there's a lot of underreporting going on as far as crime committed by illegals.
Well, no, they don't. There's a whole bunch of arguments that anti-immigration people make, and you say, okay, Democrats left them in.
I'm not an anti-immigration people. I
okay,
said,
so you say
what I said was.
Well, wait a minute. Okay. So you're the one saying Democrats are letting in immigrants, and they punted it. Okay, you're absolutely right. Immigration did go up during those years.
Well, asylum. They changed the definition of asylum, and they immediately reversed Trump's. Like stay in Mexico or wait in Mexico or something. He had a different
chill
policy.
out in Mexico.
I mean, chill out in Mexico. Yes.
Just fucking chill, man. Wait there.
And we were still, letting in, as we should. We are a nation of immigrants, and we need immigrants.
There you go.
But most Americans felt, including lots of Democrats and people of color, and he won the Latino vote by half. Come on, man. Like, at a certain point, everybody was around the idea that, okay, immigration, fine, but it has to be somewhat orderly, and not anyone.
Yes, and again,
and asylum had a certain specific meaning, which went up in the air.
And then, of course, it got changed by the past administration, and then, of course, adopted wholeheartedly by people like Jon Cryer, and thus, putting in their crusader, basically, tendencies so that they could have something to run their mouths about. But it is unrestrained immigration. When you let anybody in that can come in without knowing who it is, first off, okay? If Venezuela emptied out their prisons, okay? It's been shown that there are a lot of people who were in prisons in other countries who have found their way here. A lot of times they have found terrorist cells coming up through the southern border. So again, this type of unrestrained immigration, okay, and then trying to change definitions of immigration status has basically brought us to where we are now.
They overcorrected.
You could be right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also feel like obviously you can say Democrats took too long to address it, but then they did. And Trump, of course, killed it. So he doesn't care about that. And again, you've been outspoken.
That's true too.
And
that is not true. Again, we knew that is not true. It actually put the amount of immigration allowed into the country into the hands of non-elected officials. That is one of the biggest problems that bill had, okay? And of course, then God love Donald Trump for coming in and actually stopping that sucker, if that's in fact what he did. So, again, this is, even at this point in time, even Bill Maher is joining in on this lunacy.
And I appreciate that, by the way, for you, that you were being outspoken. I appreciate that you lost fans. You know what? They needed more free time. It's better that they don't watch your show.
It actually is.
I'm sorry?
It actually is, because they're just, here's how I know they changed and not me. It used to be the conservatives, the Jerry Falwell types.
Okay, hold on for a second. he's going to go into something now that's really going to get on my nerves. But this is the one thing here that is one of the things that is really, really, really grinds my gears. Okay, I'm going to steal it. Okay, I don't care. I'm taking it from Family Guy. This man changes like you would not believe. Okay, he actually tries to move around and try to change what he says that he believes, and everybody knows that this man is a hard leftist. Okay, just because it seems that he has got a clue now as to what reality might actually be does not mean that this guy is over the deep end. And at one point in time he's going to say something that is going to prove it. But to circle back about the whole hatred of black women, I cannot stand this idea that because we didn't vote for Kamala Harris, we hate black women. Okay, that is the biggest load of leftist hyperbole that it needs to be reined in by the Democrats. It definitely needs to be reined in by Democrats, because it just sounds like, oh, I didn't get what I want, so I'm going to say whatever the heck I can. I mean, if you can't tell how much that gets my goat, it's absolutely and utterly crazy. But again, people like Jon Cryer believe this.
Who you would do a stick up their ass joke about. Now it's the woke. They're the ones with the stick up their ass. They're the ones who don't have a sense of humor. They're the ones who are too sensitive. They're the ones, marching for Hamas, doing things like that.
Again, I think conflating people marching for, to not have Israelis, the IDF carpet bombing is different than marching for Hamas. And yes, Hamas is a terrorist organization. They are a mafia organization. I do not support them in any way.
But they ran Gaza, and they were the ones that perpetrated the October 7th attack. Okay, but again, he's going to roll around it because again, Israelis defending themselves bad. Okay. But basically Hamas, okay, or at least Palestinians defending themselves, good. Again, one more bubble that Jon Cryer finds himself in.
Well,
again, yes, I know they're going to be saying, "Wow, Ducky is not on our side. This is crushing to our movement. We've lost Ducky." But my point being that conflating those two, and obviously there are outrages on the right and there are outrages on the left, and the right wing media ecosystem is just a constant outrage engine, and constant, and that is very pernicious to America, to having a nation.
So I was only watching MSNBC. Not as bad. I mean, the right wing is definitely more dangerous because they don't believe in conceding elections.
Yes,
we are
exactly.
we are already past what I called, even before he won the first time, a slow-moving coup.
Yes.
Because when one side concedes, as the Democrats just did, and one side we know would not,
yes,
you're already past democracy. You are already. I mean, they make it.
The Democrats have not conceded an election since before 2000. Okay, they have been questioning elections. Okay, since 2000, and because at one point in time Trump questioned the count and questioned the election results when there were glaring examples that there had been election fraud. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, he did stop the whole works and try to stop the whole works to prove that did happen. But what happened on January 6th? Okay, Biden took over. So the whole idea that Republicans don't concede elections and Democrats do is absolutely and utterly crazy. The problem they had in 2024 was they had no leg to stand on. All right. Normally Republicans don't get the popular vote, but the Republicans got the popular vote. The Republicans retained the House. The Republicans took the center. The country demonstrably took a lurch to the right. Okay, the Democrats knew they had nothing to stand on, and the only way to look good in this case was to just do the mea culpa and just step down gracefully. Okay, and thank God.
Sound like, we had a smooth election. Yeah, smooth when they win. That's not good enough for me. It has to be smooth when whoever wins.
Yes, I agree.
So I have this in perspective. I think so. But what drives them crazy, the reason why they are willing to do these basically traitorous extra-constitutional things like not concede elections is because they think the left is so crazy that whatever they have to do to retain power is worth it, because if the left takes over, they will destroy life as we know it. I don't think that's true, but when you see some of the things that the left has championed lately, you do wonder, like, and like I said on my show last week, you lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person.
Okay, that's funny, but I disagree.
That he's a crazy
you're right.
person.
I agree that he's
and
crazy.
they lost the contest.
And you're right, and they lost the contest. So yeah, it's funny, and you're right.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Maher trying to rein in Jon Cryer during an insane woke rant. But I'd say, as I said in the beginning of it, these people, the people of the left, are within their bubble. Okay, they don't understand reality anymore. They aren't a part of it. They have too much money. Okay, I have family members that have a lot of money, and they don't even remember what it was like. Okay, way back when they were still like among the lower to middle class. So it is just one of those things you do gradually forget, and it does take a toll on you, even if you did come from those common backgrounds, and a lot of these people really didn't. So again, they don't really understand. Jon Cryer, again, and people of the left like this, of the ultra left, of the woke left, don't understand what it's like to be a normal person, and they don't look at the world, I guess, in almost a normal way. But like I said, that's the extreme leftist, and that's not what I say what your normal leftist would be, because as I've said in the past, and as I always say, if you get all of us in a room, no matter how we believe, 90% of the time we are actually going to get along, and it may come down to a really nice party. So thank you all for joining me today. Like, share, hit the notification button for when I put up another thing. Again, subscribe. Please subscribe. I would love to get to 500 by the end of January. So if you have not already hit that subscribe button, please do. And hit me up with those comments. I do love the comments. So again, I hope you all have a great day. Later.